Hi everyone, Jeremy here from Flatware Creations. I'm finally back in my shop, and today we're going to make some wind chimes. You've seen me make these fork wind chimes before. I think there's just the squiggly forks and the 4 tines, and then they come down to whole spoons and things. But today we're going to reach into our grab bag and we're going to use this guy. No lid. Normally I use the lids and I'll use them to make rain chains, so all my lids get tossed in a drawer. But we're going to shine this guy up, and I think we're going to use this old candlestick, part of it, probably this end, as the center chime for our forks and spoons. We are going to need, I'm using this Nylon, it's 100 feet, 0.015 inches or 0.038 millimeters. There we go. Give you a second to get that. I got this from Michael's. This is 45 pounds. It's nylon coated trolling wire for fishing. There is a link in the description for everything here, I believe, minus this and this. The next thing that I'm going to buy once I run out of this, that's what I have in the list, because I couldn't find this specifically. So we're going to need those. I'm using this Blue Magic metal polish cream. That's what we'll be using to clean this up real quick. I have 2.5 millimeter crimps. I have a bunch of old, probably 1 millimeter crimps. I call them garbage crimps because I'll show you why. They're just disposable. I bought the wrong size. They didn't end up working out, so I found a use for them. And then we have these crimps here. And this is a liter crimp. And we're going to use these 3 of them to make this hang the way we want it to. I'm not sure which way I want it to go yet, but also a drill, and I use a 1/16 inch cobalt bit. This is just a high speed. I couldn't find my cobalt. Actually, I got one right there. There we go. So I had this problem once before with another drill. It the inside had worn down. So here's how I fixed that. Tape. I just need a little bit of tape to be able to make it stick. So I'm just going to roll it up nice and tight. And this is just plain masking tape. You can use electrical tape or whatever. Just want to watch. And you want to watch and see the tip stay in the same spot. If it stays in the same spot, you're good. Okay, so we're going to need this for the holes. A small punch of some sort. Oh, crooked. Small punch and any small hammer. we're also going to need a marker. Where is it? There we go. I'm going to use this permanent marker. And there's that. Those. I'm pretty sure that we're going to use... I forgot to say hi to everybody. Hi. So these are spoons and forks that I've already drilled and cut the holes out of. Depending on the way they sound against our center chime is the ones that I'm going to go with. So I make quite a few of them whenever I'm building other things. If I see a nice match like these really pretty forks, and it sounds like these might end up being the ones I use. I'd like to use them. And then I also do it with specialty spoons, like this type of shape. But I always have a couple around because sometimes they make a nice sound against the center chime. So a lot of times these brass candlesticks, is this brass? Silver plated, India. It doesn't sound like brass. This is the piece that I want to use. Hi Wayne. So this is the piece I want to use. I did pre-drill this with 1/16 inch drill bit. So we're going to be able to hang our wire through here. All right, so let's get rid of this. Get rid of this. If I love to use the ones that are brass. Crash, bang. This is going to be the next one that I use for my teapot. I'll be making. This thing sounds incredible. Just has such a long ring. Also, another point to remember, whenever you're holding this, that's not the sound you're going to get. The sound you're going to get is whenever it's stuck to the wire, it's going to be a lot higher sounding, which is really nice. So you can get kind of a clue as to what it's going to sound like. So we've got our centerpiece. I like to use the tablespoons as the bottom kind of wind catch. And we're going to use these as our chimes. They're going to hit against this guy. And then I have boxes and boxes of beads. We'll figure that out later. So let's get this stuff moved over. I'm going to turn off the autofocus. And we're going to work on getting this guy polished. So let me see if I can get you guys back here. Okay, so using this polish, doesn't take a whole lot. I'm just going to kind of start to rub it on. Now, a lot of times I don't polish these. I know a lot of people who do. I've sold tons of them unpolished, because this is what they're going to end up looking like after you bring them home and leave them out over the season. So you kind of know what you're getting. but I understand the appeal of shiny. Shiny is good. So I'm just rubbing it in. All right, we'll give that a second. Handy dandy old shirt. And you can already see just how fast that stuff works. And I'm barely pushing on it. I've been trying to do some video editing in between all the other projects I have. And so I haven't had the laptop in the shop for a while, but it is all hooked up. I'll be doing my editing now in here. Have a couple more videos coming out. I also have some special requests that I have to make. Somebody asked for a spider. Also, there's a fork tine bracelet that looks kind of interesting. Hi, Jane. Okay, I think I got most of the blue magic off of there. Definitely a lot shinier than it was. We'll switch shirts. Kind of get that film off there. Now we're shiny. And that took all of, where's my thing? It probably took about 5 minutes to get this all nice and shiny. All right. Step 2, we need to figure out how we want this to hang. A lot of times I'll hang them like this, and then I'll have the chimes coming off the feet. I have done it where I've had it upside down with the chimes coming off the top. I do like that. Sometimes the fancier they are, they just look a lot better one direction. I think let's see, how big's our center? This does make difference. The center being if we put our spoons here, see how close this is? It's gonna almost be touching it the whole time. It's gonna be really close. So if we do it this way, we have our piece here and our spoons are gonna be about this far apart. So further away. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to hang it this direction. So what that means for me is I need to find anchor points. I have anchored in here. What I mean by anchored is taking my wire. Where's the end? This thing's like never ending. Come on. There we go. So our line, this is our leader wire. I can poke a hole through there and hang it up this way. We can also hang it from here, from the handles. I don't normally like to go sideways with them. I don't know if it's an OCD thing or what. I think we're going to go through here. So, and we're going to make it so that we the crimps are going to be hidden. So I think if we go about that far, that's going to give us enough height. Get this guy. Okay, so we're going to put marks here. I want to go right off. So the gauge of wire I'm not positive on. I do have the link in the description. This is 45-pound test. There's 0.7. Come on, camera. Be nice to me. Sorry. Let's see if I can switch it real quick. Get it working again. No, it's going to make me work for it the whole time. Okay, one sec. I'm going to kill this camera. And make it come back. I am getting faster at this part, which is good. And let's drop it back. Move down. There we go. Okay, so this was .70 millimeters. It's marked 45 pound. And I do have what I'm pretty sure is the equivalent down in the description. Okay, so let's get you up here a little bit further. The 7-strand beading wire is this stuff. This is the smaller stuff that we're going to be using for hanging our beads and our silverware on. So that's the smaller stuff. Alright, so what I'm going to do here is basically, because I want it centered, I'm just going to put a dot here. I'm going to put a dot there. And this part, I've started, I had a template that I had measure it out. I just put this down on there and then mark it out. But I found a little trick. If I take and I turn my ruler to where it touches, I can put a mark right here. Nope. It's a mark right here and a mark right here. Flip it this way. I can put a mark here. I put a mark here. And that pretty much makes them identical on both sides. Makes things so much easier. And then of course we need a hole pretty much dead center. It's pretty close. So we have our hole here, here, this one, and then we're going to make 4 holes up here. I'm going to grab my block or my punch. And what's nice is a lot of times this stuff is soft enough that you can just, I want to make sure that you guys can see this. Oh, I'm on the wrong camera. There we go. I keep trying to stop the autofocus for you guys. Okay. So I'm just going to make a tap. I'm just wanting this down maybe a 1/4 inch. Just keep moving on, and we're going to drill all our holes. All right, that's annoying me. I'm going to sharpen this up real quick. Glasses. Okay. Oh, you know, it's been a long time since I made these because I forgot my little tricks. If you take a block, put it in your vise, and then you can set that right on there, and you have a better view, and you'll have something to have some leverage against. So I like to bring it to the corner because it's the lowest spot. should go back and watch one of my videos. Oh, I haven't made a video on this. Every time I do my elephants with the blanket bales, I have to go back and watch the video to see how long the pieces to cut are. Let's make that one a little deeper. Okay, and we're going to do these three. A lot of times these parts of the sugar bowls and creamers, these are really soft pieces, so you don't really have to hit them very hard. All right, let's bring it up here. All right, now we're going to drill. My handle just broke. All right, let's try some damage control, and we're going to heat this thing up a little bit. Where's my spray bottle? I'm going to bring you guys up here. No. This camera is not liking me today. You're killing me, camera. So I think it has something to do with the way that it's just getting moved around. I'm going to have to play with that a little bit so we don't have to keep going through this. Oh, now the camera is totally gone. Sorry about this, guys. Trying to add it back in there. And it is still dead. All right, let's do it old school here. All right, I'll bring you down here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try heating this up just enough to get this to start to melt again so that I can press it against it. And making sure that I do it without melting it more. This stuff is super low temperature melt. I'm just using propane here. It's my My mic's still working? Okay. Just looking for any little sign that it went. There we go. Nope, not quite enough. Just put a little bit of flux on it. Is dead. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna dip this before I forget and burn myself. Oh, it's always something, right? Okay. Off this other handle. That's all there is to it. These will make, if you have the patience for them, they will make a really pretty heart. Oh, I'm going to the wrong camera. They will make a really pretty heart. Granted, you don't melt them too badly. All right, those go in that box. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to take and grind these down, both sides, and then we're going to move on. So I'm going to go up to a little heavier drum. What do we got? This is 120 grit. Oh, wrong camera. This is just, I got this for actually nails, doing gel nails, and it works great. So I don't want to breathe this stuff in. I'm going to grab my mask. I'm working on getting my other camera up right now. I got it loading also. So I'm just going to grind this down and then I'll start talking again. If you guys have any questions, put them in the comments. Ah! Oh, wrong one. Okay, I just took it up to 180 grit. So I'm just going to buff this real quick. See if I can get it a little bit clearer. Okay, once we take off, or once we drill out these holes, I'm going to take it and we'll buff this down a little bit more so that you don't show as much. Back to drilling. Use a little bit of wax. Okay, and now our holes, they're in the side. Okay, I'm going to change bits on this because this one seems to be not very sharp. Some of these drill really easy, some of them drill a little bit harder. It just depends on what they're made of. Let me make this hole just a little bit bigger. Last one. It's a bummer that those handles broke off. They're part of the things that make them really nice. Okay, now I'm going to take my little drum sander again, and I'm going to go on the inside and take out the burrs. You can feel them inside. There's little tiny burrs. No sharp edges. Oh, there's one. And then our center. For the centers, I normally need to get a little bit more creative. So I'll use a ball burr or a ball bit. The other thing I like to do, depending on the way that it's being hung, if it's being hung on with this side up, I'll always go back in and I'll put the punch here. That way any water that builds up in there automatically goes to the lowest point and comes out. So we don't need to do anything to that. I'm going to put on just a cone Forgot the guys on the outside. And you don't have to push down hard, it just takes a little bit. Okay, so I'm gonna hold my breath and I'm gonna go to just this big guy, the fluffy guy, and on that one I use the white compound. Looks pretty good. All right, so the first part we want to do is we're going to take this wire and we're going to grab our big crimps. We're going to need 3. The reason I use 3, especially when doing this type, it gives me it gives me a way to adjust up here how this sits. So you can see it's kind of tilted. Now if I did this right in the middle, it would sit like this. So what we're going to do is we're going to make it to where it does sit flat, because this one needs to sit flat like this. And to be able to do that, we need to be able to move this crimp. All right, so let me get you back down here. Come on, camera. All right, so we're going to put on this one crimp first. We're going to go down through it the same direction. And that gives us a loop at the top. So for this one, I want to keep my crimps on the inside. So I'm going to run this through. I started from the outside because whenever you're looking at this, once it's hung up, you're not going to see, hopefully, these crimps. So this is still one side. I'm just going to double it back through. And then I'm going to pull this tight. And then we're going to smash it. And now we're going to go to the other one. Same thing from the outside going in. Pull enough through to go through. Get it just barely where it goes through. And pull up on it. And where's my cutters? I wonder if these will work. So what I'm doing now is I'm cutting the crimps off. I want half of them gone. Nope. It was worth a shot. I think my other cutters are out in the garage, so let's use our handy dandy bolt cutters. If this isn't overkill, I don't know what is. All right, now we get to pull this guy all the way through. And this is where we're actually going to crimp our cord. So I want this pulled in all the way, and I'm going to push it right up and make a hard angle right here. So this one, pushing it all the way in, pinch it down here and bring it straight up. That's going to give us 2 sharp angles. Okay. Now I'm going to bring it back here. With the new gimbal thing I've got set up, it makes it, I'm still trying to get used to it. So up here I have a wire that I've hung from the ceiling. You can hang it from something tall, but I just do this to be able to see where my level is. And I'll normally use the little torpedo thingy-mabob. Double check it with my eyeballs. Looks pretty straight. So I've got my wire here. I like to leave about an inch. Is it an inch? Yeah, it's about an inch. And we're just going to tap this down. All right, and that has our top done. This is generally the part that takes the longest of, well, not the longest, but it takes the most effort to get everything else. Now we just have to make the wires and then start crimping things. So we need a wire for the center. We need one for each of the holes, so that's 5, and then we need one from the center down to here. So what I mean by center is this guy. Okay, autofocus. All right, so here's the way this goes. Our wires are going to come off of here. They're going to be holding the forks and spoons. This is what I'm calling the centerpiece. I have used all kinds of different things. I like to use serving pieces. They're a lot bigger. They have a lot bigger sound generally. I've used stainless steel pieces like this one. This one's stainless. But it has a hole drilled in the top and in the bottom so that our center, we still have our wire going from here to here, and then a wire going from here to here. So beads, beads. So same thing here. But for this one, we're going to use this guy. And I'll show you a little trick I use to make sure this stays where it's supposed to be. So we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wires. So I have 2 already here. We're going to use the good crimps. Don't need that. I like to use 2 curved nose pliers. And I need a pair of pliers, needle nose with teeth. This really helps. So for this part, I'm going to bring you down a little bit more. Okay, so for the end, I know that one's long enough. Okay. So I make, and I twist it around 3 times. And then try and pull it and then I'll use this guy to pull it really tight. Then we're going to snip off the end. That's 1. Same thing here. Normally I don't cut the wires off the thing first. So it's 3. I'm pinching the very, very end, and I'm trying to rotate it to where the wire gets right up to the knot. So I'm pushing this up towards the knot. Once I get it to where I can't move it anymore, I pull it tight and clip it off. Okay, so here's how I like to run this. Five, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. One, 2, 3. What this does is it allows me to waste less wire. So every time I cut the wire first, I had about 1 inch of wire that wasn't getting used. So it's 3. And we're about 10 inches here. And depending on your project, you can make these any size that you want. 1, 2, 3. And my finger is at the pinch point. That was our 10 inches. So right there, pull it tight. Somebody got into my good flush cutters and cut some steel with them, some steel wire. All right. So we're at 4 now. One, 2. So the ones like this, I generally sell for $35. And like everything else, if I get in here, just make a whole bunch of wires one day, and I could probably make 8 to 10 of these a day. That's if I just prep everything, and I could just go right through them. Make sure my headphones, all 3 sets are charged. Get them on rotation. All right, so this is our last strand, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Another little tip, I know I've shared it before, but I drill a hole in this plastic cover piece that's drilled this way. That way I can pull my wire out and it just keeps that piece on there the whole time. And then to wrap it up, I just put my finger here, boom. Easy peasy. So because these are the main pieces, I always like to double up my crimps. Actually, I double up the ends. I told you it's been a while since I've made these guys. So I've got my crimp. I'm going to bring it almost I just crimp it with the end of the round nose pliers, and I'm right before the knot. So these are 2.5 millimeter crimps. I think they're brass, but they're silver plated. The nice part is they will go over the top of the knot. So you can slip them right over the knot and not have to go through all of the work of sliding it all the way down the wire. Crimp down. And you just get it next to the knot or right up against it. Even if you have a little space, this is basically so that it doesn't pull through the hole. All right, so we got 2 more to do. That one, the wire had flared out on me, so I couldn't get the crimp to crimp right. At least I'm not shaking too bad today. Okay, so here's our next part. I'm going to grab all of these guys. I'm going to find which one is the longest. They should all be pretty close, but I had those 2 that were cut. All right, so this is my long one. So another good tip, always put the lid on whenever you're doing something else on your crimps. I have dumped them over enough times to always remember that. So this is just going down through the hole from the top. So we've got a nice, if you feel like you want to, go ahead and stick a second crimp up there. This is going to be our main line. I've already pre-drilled this, so it's going to go through here, and we're going to put 2 crimps on, and then we're going to make a little tiny loop in here that's going to fit inside this, so that we can hook on our other strands here. And all of these guys get put in from the inside out. That way the crimp is hidden. I thought I saw one fall out. It was the top middle one. All right, so thank you for stopping by. I really appreciate it. Thank you. So we have 5 lines coming down. And we have 1 more, and that's going to go to this guy here. So we can go ahead. No, we can't. We don't need these anymore. Don't need those anymore. Still need these. Okay. Now we need some beads. I have a couple. I didn't do it. Caught on my hook. Okay. Let's see, where did that dish go? Actually, we'll use this will work. So we're going to pick out our beads here. Okay, I like to go with 2 main beads and then 3 smaller beads. So to do the 2 main beads, I need, there's 5, 6, so I need 12 main beads. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we're going to use these guys. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right, now we need our accent beads. I like to normally make them contrast. These are a nice flashy kind of clear color. All right. There's actually 2 different types here. All right, let's pick something else that's more that I don't have to dig through. Oh, that's what fell. It was my saw. Will the blue contrast those? Yeah. All right. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I counted 3 of them equals 1 strand. So we needed 6 strands. I like to start with the middle one just to make sure. It just makes it easier in my head for some reason. So at this point, you want to have something in your lap to catch any beads. I always like to flip my apron up a little bit. I also have a plastic thing that I put magnets here for that catches everything, because you are going to drop some stuff. So here's how I put these together. Make sure. Is that focused? Okay. Stop the autofocus. So after each bead, you want to put a crimp. So I did a blue. I'll do my main bead. Crimp. Blue again. And this is just the way that I do them. Your imagination is the limit. You just want to remember to get the crimps in between each bead, because if you forget one, you're going to have to take it apart and redo it. And we're on our last blue, so our last bead for this strand. So right now I'm going to put on 2 crimps. And I'm going to grab my garbage crimp. And at this point, I'm going to grab my silverware. Just want to make sure these are out. And this one, because it's the center, doesn't get 2 beads yet. We got to put it through here first. If you're worried about this kind of being too sharp for your wire, just grab a tiny little bead. Just any little seed bead should work. So I'm just going to put this little blue guy on there. Get this through here. All right, now we're going to put on our 2 crimps. Whenever I attach the silverware pieces to the wire, I always do 2 crimps. And this is our wind catch because it's the center. I'm going to put this through here. I'm going to run my wire back through my 2 crimps, and then I'm going to grab a garbage crimp. I'm going to put that right on the edge. And then I'll crimp it. So as far as this goes, this is all. I didn't do that right. Nope, I didn't. I needed to make that crimp inside of here. So we're going to leave that there like that for now. And then we go through here. Hi, Salmet. And the tediousness begins again. Hi, honey. And once we get past this point, then we'll be able to tune everything to where we get a nice sound. Blue. And here's where we start putting our silverware on. So we're going to go two crimps. Put my silverware through that one. Go back up through my 2 crimps. And we'll grab a garbage crimp. All right, so that has this and all my beads so they don't fall off. So because I did a fork on this one, I'm going to go right across and I'm going to do the next one. That way I don't kind of mix them up and put like a spoon on that side. I mean, you can do whatever you want, but my OCD, I like to things symmetrical. Let's see. And once you get into the little routine of it, they just start to fly. So, fork. Back through the crimps. Both crimps. All right, so that has those 2 done. So we have 2 more left to do. Start with the beads, not the crimps. And after these are done, then we'll get that middle piece set. And you'll see why I left that open because we kind of really need to know how far down we're going to let everything hang. Two crimps. Come on. Grab a spoon this time. And you can do this with whole silverware. These are scrap pieces that are left over that I just designated for wind chimes. I've used the entire piece from once the handle is cut. I've used the stem portion all the way down to the spoon to make them. I don't like to waste any piece. So if they're not really pretty and won't make earrings, I'll normally keep them on there, turn them into the wind chime parts. Unfortunately, the live videos are always longer because these things always take time. There we go. Last blue one for these. All right. Get our spoon on there. All right, so those are all crimped. I'm going to wait on that one. So just because they're open right here, I'm going to hang this up. Hi. There we go. And real slowly, we're going to lift up on this. And I actually like the depth, how far down this is. So I think I'm going to reach in here. And I'm going to make this crimp right about here. So I'm making a little line, or a little loop. Just a nice little loop. What's up, Gus? And then I'm going to clip off the excess here. And we're going to take our other strand here. And I'm going to put on 2 crimps. Wrong crimps. So 2 crimps. We're going to go down through the loop. We're going to go down through the 2 crimps. Okay, so there's our setup here. We're going to pull it right up. It doesn't need to be very big. And we're going to crimp it. Okay, now this should all be hidden up inside the bell. And there we go. It's important to get this where you want it, because everything else relies on this being in where it's at. So, all right, so we have this last one to bead, and then we'll get to tuning. I have used a bead in the past whenever I'm using the larger brass bell housing pieces. I've used a bead inside to make an extra sound, so you get the ringing of the bell plus all the silverware. If you guys haven't subscribed yet, please do. I try and keep videos coming out. Sometimes they need to be lives. I have a bunch of videos that I'm working on editing, but it's just me. It takes time, and I really appreciate it. And if you can't subscribe or comment, well, you should be able to. Yeah, you can subscribe on TV without needing the computer. And if you can leave a like, thumbs up, that really helps. Something about the algorithm, blah, blah, something, I have no idea. All right, here's our last garbage crimp. Okay, now for the fun part. Put the lid on all the crimps. So we don't spill them. I can bring you guys back up here. There we go. All right. So now we're going to hang this up. Okay, so we're nice and level here. This is all level. So I'm going to take, and I'm going to grab the crimp underneath the first bead and put it right where I want it to be. And pretty much you could do that with all the rest of the blue beads. Make sure that your string is pulled all the way. Sometimes you'll think you're crimping it, but part of the line was caught up and you have some hanging down, and then you go to, everything comes out and one of your beads is like way down here. So just make sure that they're all pulled out all the way. All right. So now I'm going to go to the middle crimp. and I basically go in between all of them. That makes it so this one here goes in the middle, and the last crimp goes right in the middle. Boom. So let's continue working on the center. Now here's where those garbage crimps come in handy. Because they didn't let our line come out of the crimp, we can now adjust this. Come on, focus. Focus. I want this to be probably right about there. So I'm going to pinch it. The crimps slide down. It doesn't need to be real tight. Just a nice little loop. Then we clip off the tag end. Same thing. Middle bead goes right in the middle. Grab the next one, right in the middle. Next one, right in the middle. All right, that has our center piece done. So I'm gonna shut off my music here. It's hard to tune them when you're listening to other music. Okay, so I'm just grabbing my crimp, my garbage crimp, and I'm slowly pulling up. We're going to get this right where we want it. So if I start it way up here, I'm going to let it go down a little bit more. And just keep moving it until you find the sound that you like. I like that one. Cut off your tag end. And generally the other side, the same utensil, the spoon here in our case, I'm just going to start it out about the same spot. So about the same height. I like that. You still find where it makes the best sound. Sometimes I'll use 4 completely different pieces. So like 2 different spoons, 2 different forks. Each one is going to have its own sweet spot. Now we'll get these guys bumped up. Now that they're in their place, middle, 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 right in the middle. Can you guess where this one's going? Yep, right in the middle. All right, now let's start on our forks. I really like doing the forks because you can get more out of them. So I'm going to grab my spoons here. I just want to hear this guy. So I'm bringing it up a little bit more. I like that spot. Now I'm going to test it on the spoons around it. So this is my spot. So right now from the fork, you're getting two sounds. Well, forks and the spoons, you're getting two sounds. One whenever they hit the center, and one whenever they hit each of the spoons. So we'll try and get this one close, and then we'll fine tune it from there. So basically just matching it up across this angle. Sorry. And for me, just once it makes a really nice sound, that's where I'm just going to lock it in. Middle, middle, and middle. So now, if you want, you can be done right here. But I like to play with things. Where's my piece? So you can take any pair of pliers that you want. I mean, you can even use your curved nose if you want for some of them. I'm going to take, and I'm just going to bend these a little bit. So I'm just bending the arms out. Same spot, just different directions. Go a little bit further. See how it just changes it that little bit? Gives it more of a delicate. So, and then I just like to make them all walk so they look like they're walking. So about the same spot. But we're going to check it on its own. We'll go up just a little bit more. If you go up too high, these will work as catches and they'll catch the string. I like it. I like it a lot. Lots and lots of sounds. Oh, I do this a lot also. I forget one strand. So many times I'll be making them, so I'll do all the metal work at home and I'll just be wiring the beads up whenever I get to a show. And I'll wire everything up and I get back to my seat and I'm looking and one of them just looks off and it's just, I didn't put the beads all the way up. So there is that. I'm gonna do a edited version of making one out of a coffee pot or a teapot. So I've got this guy right here that I'm gonna make. This one is silver plated sugar dish. The center is, it's not real brass, but it sounds like brass. And then all of these are silver plated forks and spoons. And then the wire is the 7-strand bead-along wire. All the links are down in the description. But this is the wire again. There we go. I got this from Michael's. But it's and I'm using a 2.5 millimeter brass or copper bead that's been silver plated, crimp, and the big wire, where'd that go? I lost that wire. Oh, here it is. And this stuff is the heavy duty fishing trolling or leader wire. I hope that made sense. Thank you. I really try and get them to yeah. Hey Gus, you want to play with the chime? I'll have to make one with fish. Sorry, you guys are over here. I'll have to make one with fish and see if we can get Gus to play with them. But this is my next project. It's just really pretty pattern in there. And I'm going to use that portion in the middle that I was talking about earlier, this piece. Now this, sounding off against the silverware, I'll probably do this in all forks. Yeah, I don't know, I might do both. Before I said, if you're holding on to the pieces whenever you're trying to test the sound, you're not going to get the actual sound of the piece. So this isn't going to be the real sound, but you can hear that ting just hang around for so long. I wonder if it'll do with the metal. It's going to sound nice. But you need something bigger for these bigger pieces. Yeah, that's what. Sometimes I'll use even something like this in the middle for everything to hang on to. So here's that pattern. Just real pretty rose leaves kind of thing. And hopefully soon I have everything to make a lamp out of one of these. So that'd be nice too. I've been wanting to do that project for a long time. So I thank you guys for hanging out with me. It's always fun. Sorry I haven't been on in a little bit. Hopefully I'll be getting more stuff put out, and if you haven't yet, please like, share, and subscribe. Hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed this, and I will see you guys next time. And thank you guys for all the comments and sticking around with me. Hope you guys have all a great night, and try and stay warm.